Okay, the first question is true or false? People who talk about suicide do not commit suicide.
False.
It's a widespread belief that people who threaten suicide are just seeking attention. Do you think that's a true statement, or what do you think about
Coming
that?
from experience, I say yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a possibility.
Do you think people who talk about suicide do not commit suicide?
False. I don't think whether or not they talk about it has anything to do with whether or not they will examine certainly not against it.
So, do you think that talking about suicide with someone who is suicidal will encourage that person to commit suicide?
No.
So you're correct. It actually won't put the idea in their head. The odds are they probably
Right. I
already
figure
done
if they're gonna try it, then it's better to, I don't know, help them.
it. Right. Try to get them to talk about what's causing problems and things like that.
Okay, suicide strikes the rich most often. Do you think that's true?
I'd say false.
You would say false?
The question is true or false? People who are thinking about killing themselves and are suicidal for the rest of their lives.
I definitely believe that is false.
Okay. Okay. We want to ask your opinion on how you feel about physician-assisted suicide.
That's kind of touchy because, in my opinion, it's kind of the person's choice. I really don't get really into that. If they want to take their life, that's them. If they don't, that's fine with me. I don't know. It's kind of weird.
What do you think this is true? People who talk about suicide do not commit suicide.
I'd say that's a false.
And do you feel that suicide is morally wrong?
No. Morally wrong, no.
And another question. After a person has attempted suicide, it's unlikely they will try again. Do you think that's true or false?
I'd say false.
Where do you think suicide ranks as a cause of death in 25 to 34-year-olds?
I don't know, probably too high. I have no idea the answer to that would be.
And question, do you think that suicide is morally wrong?
Ooh. I think it's morally wrong. I haven't given much thought to it, but
It's a hard question.
I would say first instinct would be yes. I guess.
Just because, is it based on like your religious values, moral values?
I mean, I do think I'm a Christian, and so the whole idea of like kind of destroying something that God created is probably not a good thing. But not to say that like we're all perfect and then that person is condemned or anything.
Okay. And an opinion question. Okay, would you feel either a shame or guilt if someone you know committed suicide?
I wouldn't feel ashamed at all, but I mean guilt possibly for not knowing, if I didn't know, if I wasn't aware, if I didn't notice, but definitely not ashamed.
Okay.
Guilt is a possibility, but not ashamed.
Okay.
Do you think suicide is something that the media tries to hide, or do you think people are just uncomfortable talking about it?
I don't think the media tries hiding it, but I think people are uncomfortable talking about it.
Also, do you feel that suicide is morally wrong?
That's a tough question. I wouldn't say it's morally wrong, but it's sad. That's the way I look at it.
Okay. Okay, so what would you do if your friend was like telling you that they were thinking about committing suicide, or you saw some risk factors, or you just had an idea that you thought they were?
Definitely just like sit down and talk with them and like I don't know. With me, like, because you need something to get out of bed in the morning to make sure they have like a goal or something motivated to like stay alive, whether it be like family or like a sport or anything, or just like, you know, probably something like that, and just lay it out. That's like, hey, it's really not that bad. Like, you know, we're white kids in America. Like, it's really, life really isn't too bad at all.
To try to get them involved.
Yeah, definitely.
I actually just went over this topic. I'm taking abnormal psych right now. So I guess I would look at like a level of ideation, and from
Just
there
throws
like,
out all these terms. There you go.
and if it was really bad, I guess like you could have them committed or possibly referred to a professional. But really, like he said, just the comfort and yeah.
Okay.
Well, I think the most important thing would be to not freak out. So yeah, this is a scary thing, but honestly, freaking out in that moment is going to be more stressful for them because they're already taking that gamble of trusting you with what's going on with them. So if you just take a deep breath, and you can even say, gosh, this is really overwhelming, why don't we see if we can go somewhere together and find some resources. So, you know, the Crisis Center 24 hours a day is answering phones. There's mental health services on campus. There's psychiatric facilities and hospitals if you feel like it really needs to go that far. But I think the most important thing would be to be present in the moment and make sure that person knows you're there for them and you're hearing them with whatever's going on. So even if it's just holding their hand and letting them tell you everything that's going on, just be present in the moment, make sure they feel like they're being understood and heard, and you'd really be surprised how far that'll get you in the conversation.
Thanks.
Okay.
And are you aware of any like resources in Alachua County?
I know I've heard of them, but I don't actually know them off the top of my head.
Okay.
So.
Okay. And are you aware of resources for suicidal people in Gainesville?
Am I aware of it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. What resources do you know about?
Kind of like suicide prevention.
Okay. Well, there's actually the Alachua County Crisis Center. They have phone lines that people can call. They get 1-800-SUICIDE numbers routed to them.
Okay. Do you know of any places in Gainesville that people can go to, or have you ever heard anything like that?
Never heard of anything.
No. Yeah, there are places in Gainesville. The Crisis Center is one of them.
Trouble, oh trouble, set me free. I have seen your face and it's too much for me. Trouble, oh trouble, can't you see? You're eating my heart away and there's nothing much left of me. Your wine, you have made your work mine. So won't you be fair? So won't you be fair? I don't want no more of you. So won't you be kind to me? Just let me go where I have to go there. Trouble, oh trouble, move away.